We've been talking through the day about trends in food services, in food consumption, in food consumers, in food providers. Beginning with the Technic Back presentation that talked about trends globally and in India. We heard from our last panel and from Henrik what they're planning on doing. Let's talk about trends in food courts now and what's likely to happen in terms of consumer preference in taste, in pricing, in packaging, in the expectations on delivery, what the investments are, what the ROI is likely to be, and of course what the challenges and the scope are. And I'd like to call our panel up with Anurag Katyar, CEO of Digusbus, Ashok Kumar Tyagi, Executive Director, Haldiram, Chaitanya Kumar Lingamalu, co-founder and CMD, The Chocolate Room, Dheeraj Gupta, Managing Director, Jumbo King, Puneet Gupta, Director of Food Quest, Samir Lamba, MD Quality, Saurabh Khosla, Marketing Leader, Unilever Food Solutions, Shabnam Singhal, Managing Partner, Sirius D&E, and Varun Kapoor, Executive Director, K Hospitality. We're going to be joined a little later on stage by Samir Kukreja, founder and CEO of Tasanya Hospitality. But before he comes on, I'd like to get Rahul Singh, Managing Director of the Beer Cafe.
Hello, everybody. My name is Samir Lamba. I'm a third-generation entrepreneur from the Quality family, and I've been in food retail all my life. Recently, we launched a couple of international brands in India. The first one of them was IHOP, and the second, Potbelly. We run 16 food courts across India. I would invite everybody to introduce themselves one by one and take it up from there.
Hi everyone, I am Saurabh Khosla. I am the marketing leader of Unilever Food Solutions, which is the dedicated food service arm of the FMCG conglomerate Unilever. I have been in marketing for over 12 years now. I have been with Unilever for almost a decade now, handling several prestigious F&B brands within the Unilever portfolio, Kisan, Knorr, Red Label for that matter. I'm personally passionate about consumer insights, and being a Punjabi myself, I am a big die-hard foodie, which of course is not reflective from my gait, but yes, I am. So that's about me.
I'm Shabnam Singhal. I come from a family of entrepreneurs and builders. We recently diversified into Sirius Luxury Affairs, which is an event company. We've just concluded Wonderflip, which was a 3-day event at Udaipur, and now we're doing the Jaipur Litter Fest. So food is a big part of all our events and weddings, obviously. And our main core business is real estate, which is conceptualizing and developing malls in all genres.
Hello everyone, I'm Puneet Gupta. I'm the Managing Director of Food Quest, which is a brand of Ayan Foods. I've been in the food business for the last 21 years. I've been into the import and distribution of food for the last 21 years. And about 6 years back, we ventured into food courts. So at the moment, we have 4 running food courts and 5 in the pipeline in the coming 1 year. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Dheeraj Gupta. I'm from Jumbo King Foods. Of course, we are largely present in Mumbai through Jumbo King, Vada Pav, the stores you would have seen. So I hope to add value to this panel. We have got a lot of stores on Mumbai Metro. So, looking forward to a discussion on that.
Myself, Dr. A.K. Tyagi. I am the Executive Director of Haldiram Group of Companies. We have basically 3 verticals. One is FMCG, fast moving consumer good, and second our QSR, and third is education. We have recently entered to the education with a state-of-the-art school, Gyan Sri. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm Anurag Katriyar and I'm the CEO and Executive Director for Digestibles Hospitality. We are into F&B but mostly restaurants and banqueting. We have just taken our first baby steps into QSR business. We curated our first food court in South Bombay in Nariman Point. And well, glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm Varun Kapoor, Executive Director at K Hospitality. We run F&B at airports, railway stations, highways. In addition to, we do a lot of banqueting, outdoor catering, sports catering. You may see for the IPL, ISL, and other activities. We operate across various segments, and today we are known as TFS in the travel vertical as well. We run businesses in the airport business. You may have seen us at Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Calcutta, various airports. And yep, so happy to be part of this panel as well.
Hello everyone. My name is Chaitanya Kumar. I am the co-founder, CMD of the Chocolate Room. We have a pan-India company. We have 250 plus cafes across pan-India. And we have a large presence in the malls. And I am part of here today to discuss about the food courts and all. Thank you.
Starting the discussion, would like to ask Puneet first. What are the trends in food courts going forward? He's putting up 5 more this year, just to understand what he's thinking.
As we see what going forward is that obviously there is to get the traction into a food court. First of all, since we are on the 3rd floor or on the topmost floor of any particular mall, so to attract the people, we have to be very particular about the brand that you are using. The brand mix has to be very, very right. So it has to be a mix between the national or brands plus international brands. So if, for example, if you don't have a Burger King and a KFC and some local hit cuisines of that particular city, then to attract the customers is very, very difficult. The customer is getting more and more tricky, and now obviously there are smaller brands, and now most of the malls have about 20, 30 odd food outlets, which include even QSRs outside the food court. So seeing this trend, food courts have to up the trend, up the game as far as they are concerned. So obviously the hygiene level, we have a food court in which we have a live DJ. We do a lot of different mixes. We have throughout there some food festivals. So sometimes it's a Chinese festival in the food court, sometimes a pizza festival. Sometimes we do some promotion in terms of some big days in which we give 10-20% off to whoever visits the food court. And then we recently have started an online ordering thing in which people can sit down. So we have designated an area in one particular food court to start with, where they can sit down like a normal restaurant and order from the table. So we have tied up with the software company, and we are experimenting on this at the moment. Thank you.
So Varun, your thoughts on the future on food courts?
So I think food courts, maybe to touch first on the mall culture, I think food courts and malls are pretty much an essential part of it. To some degree, food courts, I would actually view it as an amenity in the mall. That if it's not there in the mall, it doesn't pull in traffic. And hopefully mall owners see it that way. Unfortunately, rentals don't show that. But if mall owners see it that way, the similar thing, if you don't have certain facilities, you can't do without an elevator, you can't do an escalator. Today, a food court in a mall is an essential part of it. So I don't see that going anywhere, probably even becoming a larger part of the footprint, to be honest. And even the same thing in airports. So we operate in airports, we did railway stations. We actually we opened, I would say, the first real food court in a railway station about 2 years back. This was in Visakhapatnam, we opened it. Phenomenal response. Initially, there was a bit of a surprised by, I think, the consumers, but I think we've seen over the last 2 years, it's really taken off. We've put a KFC, we've got Domino's, we've got a Subway, so we've got brands like that on the railway platform. So I think food courts as a model, done right, done effectively, is something here to stay for sure, for the long term.
What about highways? What do you see the future of food courts on highways?
Highways, I think it's a bit more nascent. I think it's more to do now. The first step in development has to happen, what's happened on the railways and the airports. Once that does happen on the highways, I think naturally it will come there because I think now the development, obviously there are a few stretches like the Bombay-Pune, your Chandigarh, Delhi, so on, which have the potential and there are more than enough food courts. But I think if you actually see highways as a complete piece, I think the real food court culture hasn't come in. It's more, I mean, there's some fantastic dhabas out there. As you go to Murthal, I mean, it's better than any food courts out there, the whole experience. But I think just the whole food court piece needs a bit more development of the highways itself for that to really.
Mr. Tyagi, just you've got a lot of food courts on the highway. Just wanted your thoughts on what you think.
Basically, we developed the food court on the highway, which is the developed highway, because in India, this market has to become. So majority of our restaurant in the metro, just like a Delhi, just like a Chandigarh and NCR, but still we have opened the sub food court in the Delhi to Haridwar highway, and that is doing well. So I think it is a future will come after development of the highway. So we are selecting highway depending upon the potential. For example, we have selected Delhi to Haridwar highway for opening of our restaurant, and second we have selected Delhi to Nainital, and we try to develop a composition of food plaza. We take 4, 5, 6 brand, where will be Haldiram will be the predominant brand. If you see our Haridwar highway in Khatoli, so there is Haldiram there is McDonald is there is something, 1 or 2 restaurants are there. So highway will be the big future for India, and it had come out very well.
Fine. Anurag, your thoughts, you've just developed a food court. Just wanted to understand how it's different from the other regular food courts.
Well, I think we learned from what we saw over last many years. So I'll tell you what was the trigger to us getting into the food court business. If you look at the latest food service report that was launched by NRAI, the QSR market is growing at a phenomenal pace. Currently pegged at about 25,000 crores. It's expected to grow at about 9% per annum, which is a very healthy growth. And I know it may upset some of my co-panelists, but I realized at some point of time that in QSR markets, there were not too many good players to play with. There was those bunch of international players, some very good domestic players, and that's where it ended. At some point of time, in my view, the food took a back seat in the food court, and it was more about pricing mechanism. And I see that as a huge opportunity. If you can get your food right, you position it right, you upgrade it, I think there is a huge market. There is a whole large segment which is happy to come to a food court if it is done right. Now, what we have done in our food court, it's fairly plush, it's upmarket. When you enter, you get a sense of that you are sitting in a proper restaurant and not really a food court. Yes, the food is all very quick service, but the whole setting, the ambience and everything, and going forward, I personally believe perhaps in a year's time or maybe under, there is a case to probably look for a full service food courts. There is a proper case to look for it. I think the Indian F&B market is maturing very well. And we must, as operators, you guys are some of the top operators there, there is a time to perhaps up the game there. Thank you.
So do you think at some point of time, people going out for dinner and a proper sit-down dinner will visit a food court?
No, I mean, when you're going to celebrate, you will probably be still going to a proper fine dining restaurant. But when it comes to, you're just out on an evening, you've gone to the Marine Drive or you've gone for a movie. And, usually you search for a restaurant post that. And that's where if there is a good food court, I don't see a reason why you've gone to a mall and there is a good movie, good shopping, whatever you have done. And if there is a beautiful food court, why would you mind going there? Because the biggest benefit food court brings for a family is there is a plethora of choice as against where to go. And that's a big problem that you solve for a consumer, where to go, what to eat. A kid may want a burger and Dadaji may want a khichdi. Food court gives you all that.
I understand. Thank you. Naveen, your views on Jumbo King in food court? Sorry, Neeraj.
Yeah, so actually I'm on this panel. We are not in food courts. So, I said that Metro as a business, we see this as a very, very large segment, for brands. I feel every brand has a right fit of where, once they find their sweet spot, they can multiply quickly. So our learnings on Mumbai Metro were very, very different, as in we put up our first 2 stores thinking we might not get much over there. But quickly now we have ramped up to 18 stores on Mumbai Metro, and there are only 12 metro stations. And in Mumbai, in the first part, which has started up. And, so we got all excited and we just did a math and we realized that there are about 1,000 metro stations which are under construction in the country today in various cities. So, it's a very, very large opportunity where you can potentially put up 1,000 stores in a particular format following, the travel business, which is the metro stations. And yeah, so as in, of course, TFS is doing the travel business, focusing on that extremely well. So I think that is a segment which will grow, and we'd anyway be very happy to be part of food courts on highways, etc. It's all getting the right mix of the right brands. People are going to require different things, and it is based on the amount of time that they have.
Yeah. So the timeline in a metro is very short. The consumer just walks in and walks out. So how are you making your brand
So I think we fit in really, really well over there. In fact, we had a Domino's pizza store right next to us, and we were very, very happy because we were doing 3 times their average sales over there. So, I just crossed over to the manager and asked him, how come this is happening? And they said that, no, so my pizza takes 5 minutes to make and your product is ready in under 1 minute. And over here, it is time at a premium more than price. So we kind of have increased our prices also, and people still, they don't seem to mind that, because that time, it's not the money part, it is the time which is more precious. And so I think it's absolutely bang on because it is quick service at its best.
Saurabh, what about food trends in dining?
So see, we as an organization, we sell to a lot of operators, to a lot of guys who have outlets in food courts. And of course, as an FMCG organization ourselves, we try to keep a check on the consumer pulse out there. We have been talking about health over time. But the kind of attraction that we have seen on the health platform in the past, 1 to 2 years is big time. So an interesting anecdote is that several the restaurant guys, the QSR operators, coming to us and asking, is your mayonnaise gluten-free? Because people who are walking up to my QSR outlets are asking that, does the sandwich, does the mayo have gluten in it? And of course we said yes, it is gluten-free, and then we kept giving them letters, we kept giving them declarations, and then over time we decided that we have to put it on packaging. Yeah. So the bigger point is that health is catching up. I think a few years back it used to be vegetarianism. I remember consumers asking, and then operators asking us that, can you make for me a vegetarian version of demi-glace, and we were wondering how is that even possible. So I think the new trend which is coming in the consumer dining space is health, and it is coming big time. So be it gluten, be it casein-free, be it keto diets and everything, that's catching the fancy of consumers in a big way.
So what do you think this trend will, going further, increase?
Of course, yes, but with trends is that they of course reach a tipping point, and then there is a downward as well. Right now, there is a lot of focus, and I can tell you from my interaction with operators pan India as well. If you see the trend of millets, going in a big way, the trend of indigenous grains coming up in a big way. But yes, of course, it will reach a tipping point, and of course, I'm sure then something else would take the fancy of the consumers out there. But yes, what I can tell, at least for the next few years, health, indigenous food, localized foods, vegan diet, gluten-free diet is going to be a big dining trend for the consumers out there and will have an impact on the entire industry.